So subcontracted R&D probably causes the most confusion with my clients as to what it is and whether or not it's qualifying. So subcontracted R&D is where you have subcontracted your R&D out. Now, it may sound quite straightforward, but ultimately it means that you've engaged in a separate entity to carry out your R&D, for you. So best way to describe this would be to say you've subcontracted out the design and build of a control panel for a machine, electronic control panel. It's not your area of expertise, but it's necessary for the larger project. And this company will design it, make it. It's their expertise. They'll design it, make it, and then supply it to you. That would be an eligible cost. So if they're not connected to you, you could claim up to 65% of that. But if it's a company that is connected to you or your company that's making the claim, that can be down as 100% potentially. Where this gets confusing for people is usually with subcontracted services. So this means a subcontracted service will be where an example would be welding, probably something along those lines, or heat treatment services, those type of things. Now, some people would say, well, that's necessary for the R&D. I have to part machine a component, send it away, it gets heat treated, and then it comes back. And then I carry on trying to solve whatever problems I've got with the components. Unfortunately, that was classed as a service. It's just something that someone is charging you to do to a component. You've asked them to heat treat it, they're heat treating it, and it's coming back. It's a little bit difficult one to get your head around, but that's not allowable, mainly because it's not contributing to the resolution of R&D. Ultimately, the R&D starts after the component comes back and has been heat treated. So this is one where I have seen quite a lot of times where companies that are providing these services are included in a claim when they shouldn't have been. This could also be individuals. So this could be where you've engaged someone on your premises, an individual, you call them a subcontractor, which is technically what they are, but they've just charged you 15 hours to do some welding services on your site, and off they've gone. Now, if that's an individual person, self-employed, that wouldn't be allowable. It's just the provision of a service. They're not responsible for resolving the R&D. They've just done some welding for you. Where this could be different is the EPW, which I'll explain in a different section. So that is where a third entity, a third party, is providing that labour. But I'll explain that in a different video. So with subcontractors, they must be a person or a company that is actively involved in the R&D itself. So they must be doing something that contributes to the resolution of the R&D. So if we talk about an individual, it could be someone where if you've developed a suspension component, but it needs to be tested in order for you to carry on developing it. It may be some endurance testing, but you haven't got the equipment. You can send that over to maybe an individual or someone trading gas, and they would test it, analyse it, give you all the data back, which will then tell you what you need to do to continue the development of that project. So it's a very nuanced gap, and it's a very nuanced part and a claim cost of the process. So it's something where you need to be very clear on what the subcontractor is doing, whether they're working under your supervision or they're working under their own supervision. It needs to be their own supervision, and how they are being paid as well. That's quite a crucial thing as well. So it's quite a complicated process. Subcontractors causes probably the largest degree of confusion in the whole claim. So making sure that you've allocated your subcontractors correctly is crucial for making sure that HMRC are happy that you've allocated these people correctly, or these companies correctly.